White people aren't racist if they avoid black people. If you go out of your way to avoid black people, you're not racist. Why would you want to be put in a predicament? You never know what's going to happen. You truly don't. You could look at them wrong and they get mad and loud and aggressive. So if avoiding black people for your own safety is racism now, well, then I guess I'm racist. I guess I care more about my well-being and my family and my life. So I'll take it. I guess I'll be racist if that's what it means, because it means a million things. It means a million things. I feel like we have enough to deal with in this world, let alone people that live in the cities can't even take public transportation. They can't even go into a gas station. They can't even go into a store. When I go to the city, I avoid certain gas stations. I know that that's the cracky gas station. I know that's the ghetto gerbs. I know it. You can just look at it and you know exactly what you're going to get when you go in there. Just like going to Popeyes in the city, just like going to Cane's in the city, just like going to KFC in the city, just like going to Burger King in the city. God forbid they your order up. God forbid. You take it back one time, you get an attitude. They mess it up again, you take it back again. They're about to throw hands. They're going to throw hands over food. I'm sick of people telling white people that they're racist because they want to avoid confrontation. There's a difference between avoiding confrontation and being afraid of confrontation. We're not afraid of confrontation. Okay. We just have it going on in our lives to where we can control our emotions because we have a family to come home to. We have a family to come home. That's a big difference between being a wussy and a sissy, like we're called, just because we don't want to go fight. It's not that we can't fight. We don't want to.
I guess I'm just thinking right off the bat, why would you go out of your way just to avoid one particular group? And she's speaking about the unpredictability, but I think anybody has come across that. And I think it's when you're crossing sometimes lines of what is kind of like tribalism. Look, I've gone into a lot of places where I've been stared down by some men of different ethnicities, and it's not just, I'm not just going to lay it at the feet of white men, although that's happened, but it happens. Well, if you're going to say you're racist, then I guess it kind of is racist, isn't it? So, I mean, I'm not mad at it, but you can't just say, well, I guess I am, and then that just be the case. So if you're avoiding one specific group for that reason, when this can happen amongst many other groups, maybe the possibility, the probabilities are different, but it can happen in any group. She talks about caring about her well-being, family, and life. But here's the thing. In most, if not all demographics, you're most likely to be killed or injured by that person who is of your own demographic. So she's trying to avoid black people, but she's more likely to be assaulted or killed by a white person. And notice she kept coming back to, well, I'll be racist then if that's what that means. You know, just stop saying that. Just say you just don't want to be around crime. Situational awareness should just be to say, like, I'm going to avoid a certain gas station or a certain store. I don't know if it has necessarily to do with the level of people or the quality of people outside of it, but I've seen many stores that had all sorts of people hanging out in front of it. And guys, again, crime is crime. It's not assigned to just one particular demographic, one ethnicity, one age group, one gender, none of that. So she is kind of, this is like a Freudian slip. She's saying a lot without saying exactly it. But then again, she's also said, well, if I'm racist, I'll be that. I'm not calling her racist. She's the one who's continued to say it. I'm going to go off on a little side note here. Maybe you shouldn't be eating at those places. If you're talking about Cane's and Popeyes and all these places, maybe you just shouldn't be eating that food. That's way worse for you. And those corporations are doing way worse to your body than somebody hanging out in front that's either going to beg for change or whatever. It's doing way worse over the long run to a greater amount of people. And I think we've all seen somebody get their order messed up, and I've seen people, again, of all demographics fighting. So you're assigning it to one group. Well, just as much as she made a generalized sweeping statement about like all black people, essentially, she's saying, telling white people that they're racist. Well, you can't speak for all white people. Some people are white and are racist and openly proud about it. So you can speak for you, and maybe you can speak to your anecdotal experience, but don't make a sweeping association or assignment or assumption about all of white people or black people when it comes to crime or racism. And she mentions there's a difference between wanting to avoid confrontation and being afraid. Well, she's got the luxury, the liberty of not having to deal with what some people, it's still to this day in parts of the country, dealing with what's called a sundown town. God forbid, you're talking about the safety of your family. Some of these people don't have a choice in what happens to them on both sides of the coin. But when you're talking about the luxury of coming into the city, okay, great. You live in a specific area. That's fine. Some people don't have a choice in where they may have to stop or what they have been raised around, or that they are possibly too poor to move away from it. And again, this is in all cases of all areas of all demographics. You have things going on like you have the time to post on this. That's what you got going on, and I'm not mad at it, and I'm not here to censor anybody. I'm not here to even disagree. She's probably gone through some stuff, as we all have, but don't we, I have a family to come home to. Doesn't make it any less important. And again, being part of a demographic that has been targeted for a lot of things, I choose to stand up for myself as well. I don't want to have to fight over things because I have a life to live, but that happens to everybody. And no, I'm not afraid either, but I also understand that some things will not work out in my favor should I choose to fight back. She might have a luxury that I don't know. And I'm sure it is not a case of that you can't fight. And that's great. I'm glad that you've never really had to where this is concerned. You may have had to fight for other things, but some of us have had to fight in different ways. Maybe not with our fists, maybe not with weaponry, but we've had to fight just uphill. So she may have fought in different ways when it comes to her existence and who she is as a citizen, but she's speaking across maybe across a board where she's entitled to not have to necessarily have to think about ways that the rest of us might have to fight in the black demographic. One, to get the stigma that she's placing on us, because not all of us are alike. And then even just over time, legislative, the same way she might have to fight against something where it's against women's right or reproductive rights or things like that. But then she might have to fight against a demographic, a representation of her demographic that would not reflect upon her favorably. So there's fights all over the place. And then when she was talking about emotional control, again, white people kill, and they are more likely to kill within their own demographic. So she's not being hunted or anything else. But again, guys, if you put yourself in any position where situational awareness has not been at play, I think what she's talking about was fine. But I think when you're assigning it to just one group, I think that's the problem. You might be assaulted by somebody or attacked or approached or whatever, and because maybe you went to a place or were there at a time that it wasn't in your best interest. But when we're talking about safety and public safety and things like that, what are we talking about when we're talking about like mass shootings? Is that emotional control? So just because you do might have emotional control, but it doesn't mean that everybody in your demographic does. Not all white men do. Not all white women do. Not all black men do. Not all white women do. And, the crack thing is kind of over. Aren't we talking about the opioid epidemic now? And I've been in areas where there's a lot of addiction, guys, and that is a very diverse and mixed bag. So I don't know where she's at. Don't really care because her experience is hers, and I'll respect that. But I am here to say, guys, this is why Dr. King has always, his legacy was about content of character over color of skin. Content of character. And content means that you will give each person possibly, the best considerations for who they are and how they act, rather than just say, I'm going to visit extreme prejudice upon you because of what happened to me with somebody else. This is, in my estimation, it's poor ambassadorship. If she wanted to speak her mind, I'm all for that. I am a very strong advocate for everybody's First Amendment. But sometimes we have to rethink how we say things. I think that's my thing. I think sometimes we just have to rethink how are we packaging it and presenting it. So we are bound to reach a wider audience. What she may have done with this is just shut people off. Like once they heard that, and then, her first 20 seconds, they may have been like, okay, shut up. But she said, like, guys, I have something to share, and this is just my thoughts. This is where I'm at. I understand it's not all people, but these are my frustrations. This is my experience. You might have gotten some people listening. And I'm sure that there's going to be a whole lot of people who are just backing her to the hilt, and they feel and think the same way that she does. And that's part of the erosion of our society, when we have people who are willing to just openly just give support without really kind of getting into it, or at least maybe disagreeing on some level and saying, well, yeah, that might be true, but we got to start looking out for each other, guys, across all boards. But this is why I say content of character over color of skin, over addiction, over ethnicity, over gender, over socioeconomic status, over education, all of those things, content of character. And also there's nature and nurture. A lot of people are born as something, but they are nurtured into something completely different. And that can be a blessing or it can be a tragedy. So I'm glad that she enjoys her entitlement enough to have those views. But I think it's a little short-sighted, it's a little narrow. But what do you guys think? Leave me something in the comments. Ace up the sleeve, advice, comment, experience, always appreciated. And again, I'm not pushing against her. I'm not gonna. She said she was racist. I'm not here to call anybody names or give anybody a particular title. She said it herself. I just think that we all can make sure that we are on the points of it being about content of character over whatever else those man-made divides are. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and I hope this finds everybody in your place. Pursuit or beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. Peace, love, unity, solidarity. And as always, there is a subscription button and a video. It's probably covering my face right now, but that is okay. Guys, feel free, click those buttons and stick around.